Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Owlet tournament. It's week 2 of stage number 2. We've got the Lost Beefers to be up against Paradise Tempest. I'm Marks, casting alongside my best bud, Spooky, over here, and today we have the lovely Silent Marine who is going to be producing this program. But Lost Beefers against PT. Spooky, what can we expect from this matchup?
I have no clue. I'm gonna be honest, it's weird. The last time these guys played, it was week 4, I believe, of stage 1, and throughout the whole stage 1, Paradise Tempest had been undefeated. Like, they hadn't dropped a map. They were 9-0 going into this match, and then Beefers, they were like 1-1 or like 1-2 at the time, and they pushed Paradise Tempest to a 3-2. It was a map 5 for Paradise Tempest, but this match was so close. It was all over the place. It went to 3 rounds on that last map on Control. These guys were just so evenly matched, and no one expected it.
Yeah, I mean, just off the standings alone, Paradise Tempest was like miles ahead of the Beefers.
They were rolling. They were mowing down everyone.
Beefers just come in and are just like, hey, by the way, we're actually going to really contest you because we kind of want that playoff spot here. And Paradise Tempest was like, uh-oh. But last time, Paradise Tempest were able to pull out ahead. But now, taking a look at how the point division has been breaking down over these last couple of games, according to the standings, right now the Lost Beefers are ahead of PT.
Yeah, Paradise Tempest, they get spanked by the Crusaders. It's like each map was close, but it was still a 3-0 for Crusaders. On the other hand, Lost Beefers, they looked pretty good in a 3-1 win over DCR. I think Talo was really firing on all cylinders on the Ashe he played a lot of. He looked really good on that hero. And then Firebat's just main tank roulette, the Winston, the Wrecking Ball, the Hog. You really never know what your next fight is going to be like when you're up against the Beefers, because they just Firebat's switches heroes on a whim, and you don't know if you're going up against that Winston or that Hog or that Wrecking Ball. You have no idea.
It's like you almost kind of it's like they're taking inspiration from Team Growluwu, and
they really
to
are.
Their credit, Growluwu, their strategies work clearly because they beat out PT. They won all of stage 1, and now if Lost Beefers to be are going to be pulling out some of those strategies that, well, technically speaking, it won against Paradise Tempest, then the Beefers might be in a good position to take this match.
Absolutely, but at the same time, Beefers don't really commit to it as much as Team Growluwu do. And I don't think they play it as well either, because who does, honestly? It could throw them off. The other thing to note is Azukari back in the lineup as Tempest. I believe he was on vacation last week, that main tank role, missing. And that could be part of their loss against Crusaders. But on the other hand, Rigmadon's out. Hidden Squid coming in to clutch up, try and keep that support line, but still not Paradise Tempest at their best, at full strength.
Well, we're going to see how Paradise Tempest are going to be engaging the Beefers tonight as we're loading into our first map, and it's going to be onto Ilios. So, super excited to see these two teams going for it, and already we can see on the Beefer side, Firebats pulling out with that Wrecking Ball. Both of these teams really want the win. I think Lost Beefers to be, they're actually rooting for it more just to make up for the fact that last time they lost this battle. And now we're going to be rolling out as these teams get ready to engage.
We're seeing the Winston Wrecking Ball comp that Beefers are so known for. Paradise Tempest. This is nuts. We got 2 Faras in the sky. This is going to be all over the place, and it's really going to be almost individual skill deciding which will win, because there's so many different duels happening all over the point.
Yeah, you could just look at how spread out both teams already are. We have the tanks engaging in the front line, the DPS engaging with the back line. They're all scattered out throughout this point right now. But Blue Jay's going to open this up with the first pick onto Hidden Squid. He is going to be traded out, but right now, PT, they don't have as much healing as they would want on this point. They are going to be able to get the res off onto Hidden Squid. And with Lars getting a pick onto Talo, that could be big. And now we just see PT are going to be pushing these Beefers back as they are going to get first capture onto this point. Culture just adding in a little bit more damage, trying to get a little bit more percentage there.
It's Lars on the Thor. Lars and Ira in the sky. This is probably the strongest DPS support duo we've had. You know, Lars puts so much damage and Ira is so clean with the swaps, like keeping him up as well as using the damage boost when they need to. It might be enough to keep Blue Jay out of the sky. Still, Barrage and Nano for Paradise Tempest, but Nano of their own on Los Beefer's side with Mankey. Let's see how they want to use these ults to contest here.
And that's going to be our first Nano coming out onto Azukari, but Sixus is going to find Talo. Now, that's going to be a lot less damage that they're going to be able to inflict here, and with Mankey falling down, now they don't have access to some of those healings. Mankey, though, able to pop the Nano before dying here. So we're going to see, unfortunately, it's probably not going to be enough now, as Paradise Tempest are just on the attack, pushing back the Beefers, and the Beefers are going to have to reset here.
Yeah, it's so hard. You see Tambone go over the side there as well, and it's already 60% for Paradise Tempest, but yeah, it's tough, you know, to really isolate a target, and then, you know, you're trying to fight on the ground. Lars is just putting in so much damage, and then you've got the res as well. The defensive res is so much stronger than the attacking team, because you have so much more space to get it off, you know? But let's see if Blue Jay can get something done with this Barrage, pretty much the only ult that they have on Los Beefer's side.
And it's going to be the mines that are going to come out onto the point first, just to try and get a little bit more space here. But Blue Jay using the Barrage to take Lars out. But Culture doesn't care. He's just going to swing right through that Pharah, canceling out that ult as we're going to see the monkeys start punching each other. Taylor throwing the Bob on the point. That's going to add a lot of pressure. But unfortunately, it looks like Bob is just off the point. So he can't even capture it because he's not standing on the point. You hate to see it. Now Six is getting the stick onto Firebats. That's the main stall hero taken out of this equation. As we are in the overtime right now, BT have not lost this point once throughout, and we're seeing a brawl come through, but the picks need to come through if the Beefers want to stabilize this and recapture that point, because right now all they are doing is stalling, and unless they can get a couple of picks, they're just going to continuously trickle in until Paradise Tempest is able to get them. Lars still holding onto this Barrage, looking for a very opportune moment to pop it to try and catch some of them off guard. We're going to be seeing monkeys flying around left and right. That's actually going to be a Barrage coming out from Blue Jay side, but it's not going to find too much value here. Azukari moving on, but nobody's on the point, so finally Paradise Tempest get round number 1, 100-0.
It's so good. This is what we want to see from Paradise Tempest. This is the Paradise Tempest that have rolled forward. They don't lose a fight. They take so much space. They're so fast in the engagement. Lars just in the sky doing so much damage. Doesn't even use the Barrage at all the entire time. He's just so comfortable just floating around on the Pharah. And you notice that they didn't even have a hit scan. They didn't have a hit scan, they didn't have a diva. They had Sixus on the Tracer. I don't know like how they shut down Blue Jay. They just trust Lars to be able to do so much damage, to put so much pressure down, that they win the ground war, that he checks Blue Jay all on his own. Like, the Pharah was uncontested on the side of Los Beefers and still got nothing done. Now, we're going to see a pretty significant composition changes on both teams. And, you know, Paradise Tempest coming out with more of this pseudo-rush style with the Winston Deep.
Yep, but they do have a Sombra, which could be really bad against Firebats' Wrecking Ball here. But you can just see them moving in as a team, swarming in onto Firebats, taking him out, and now it looks like their next target is going to be Harambe. Harambe trying to escape, but can't escape the Reaper's shotguns, as Ira's also able to get a pick onto Tambone. And once again, Paradise Tempest just in charge of this situation, as they're going to get first point capture.
And I think this is a compositional difference for Paradise Tempest, because you've kind of got the Ball, the Winston, and the Moira, Los Beefers side, as a front line, with the others as a back line. But Paradise Tempest are all front line. They're always pushing forward. They're moving as a team, and they should be able to just collapse on any isolated member of Los Beefers.
Oh, yes, exactly like you said there. You can see that Six is able to get Harambe, and the problem is that they're able to just move in as a team, but Talo pulling out 2K. Blue Jay pops his visor, trying to get a little bit more value, gets Ira, and finally the Beefers are going to have a win fight in their favor, as they're finally able to turn the point.
Yeah, it looked like Culture just wasn't in the right position to be able to eat that up with the Diva. You know, they split out a little bit, and the DPS for Los Beefers come alive. You know, Talo getting a couple of those early picks, and just brilliant play. No ultimates needed except for that visor. this next fight is going to be a lot of Qs being pressed. I'm looking at that EMP from Lars. Potentially, you either use that and only use that, or use everything but that to try and win the fight.
Well, they're going to be engaging with a Coalescence first. Sixus looking for the flank Death Blossom. As he moves in, he's going to be popping the Death Blossom. Unfortunately, no one's able to check him, but they're able to escape very nicely. But Azukari is going to be the one who comes alive, being able to toss some of them off the edge there. And with just the pure numbers advantage, Paradise Tempest once again rolling over the Beefers and recapturing this point.
And look at the ult charges, Marks. Not on Paradise Tempest, no. On those Beefers, they use like everything, trying to stop those 3 ults. And it's not even the most impactful ultimates, Sound Barrier's still alive. And that EMP. 50% building up to Paradise Tempest. They should have this next fight.
And now it's the EMP coming out, and it finds 5 people. What can you do against that? Nothing except for lie in front of Sixus as he lays the shotguns into your back. Now the support line has been completely dismantled, as well as Talo. We see Firebats trying to do something, but unfortunately it isn't enough as Paradise Tempest, just off the back of that single EMP, win that team fight.
Double support ults coming online, but the Coalescence isn't going to be as impactful. You don't have the same team composition as Paradise Tempest do. It's going to be harder to get both that healing and that damage done for Mankey. He's really going to have to figure out where he wants to do that. And now, they really need to get on point. This could be the last fight. Paradise Tempest win here, they take map 1.
And now we're going to be seeing the sound barrier come out from Hidden Squid, but it isn't enough to keep Ira alive as he's going to be burned down by Blue Jay. Now this is going to be a fight on the point. The mines have been dropped in order to try and swing this back for the Beefers, denying a lot of space, but the Death Blossom coming out is going to be fully checked by Harambe. Now that's not getting a lot of value there, but Lars is able to take out Mankey. That's a main healer down, meaning that the Beefers don't have as many heals, so they got to be a little bit careful there, but they're dumping in all of these ults just to keep this point alive, and that's exactly what they're going to be able to do as they flip it around.
They use the Bob, Marks. They used the Bob at the very end there when the fight was won. No ultimates now at all on the side of those Beefers, and they're staring down a Coalescence and an EMP. This is going to be tough. This is going to be so hard. They were lucky that they popped Ira in the beginning of that last fight, the Los Beefers were. But, you have to pull it a miracle to pull this one off. If Lars gets a good EMP, it's over.
And Lars setting up here. He's going to pop the EMP. He finds 3. And with Blue Jay falling down, that's going to deny any chance of them building up a duplicate here. Ira, meanwhile, popping the Coalescence, able to just get their heals up for Paradise Tempest, as now they're just going to be swarming in on the Beefers. Azukari playing around with this Wrecking Ball, throwing him aside all over the place. Blue Jay, though, he's able to get the respawn, but is already getting denied just because there's a Winston pushing him around here. Right now, this is going to be an absolute brawl on the point with the picks coming through for PT. They're able to flip the point, and now the Beavers have to get on the point just to make sure that they can keep this alive. But look at Azukari in the back line there. He's doing such a great job of denying space, and that's going to be it as Paradise Tempest take our first map.
And this is the Paradise Tempest we want to see. This is the Paradise Tempest we saw through stage 1. So much cleaner. They look so good. It's crazy, Azukari back in this lineup. According to Misfit, he's the main shot caller for this team. And you can really see it. Just Azukari actually getting all those picks there. I think set up by Sixus's Death Blossom, which didn't actually get anything. Everyone kind of threw themselves off the side to avoid that one, and Azukari just cleans up. So, but brilliant play. And, I really do like to see, the coordination between some of these members, Lars and Ira, normally, they're that Pharah Mercy or that Ashe Mercy with Ira pocketing Lars. It's nice to see the EMP come out from Lars, then Ira just instantly beam down the Echo that got EMP'd. It's beautiful. The coordination, the calls from this team. This is Paradise Tempest.
So can I just say, we started this and you were like, I don't know how this is going to go. But it seems like you might be starting to be swayed towards PT right now, right?
They're just so clean. Did you see the same? Did you see the same match I did, Marks?
Yes, I definitely did.
Are you not swayed?
No, I definitely am right now because once again, Paradise Tempest just looked so in control of the tempo of the match. And I really like that composition that they actually brought out there on that second point because once again, they just had to play together as a unit. And how the Beefers were approaching this was like, hey, we're playing this dive composition, which means that you have to look for the isolated member and then take them out first, right? But the problem
Yeah.
being, if everybody is all together at the exact same time, then PT can just go, oh, you're jumping in on us? Everybody swing around and kill.
And it's such a good map for it, you know? Like Ruins on Ilios is so it's like a line. It's a straightforward line. There's a little bit of high ground on the side, but not too much. It's very good for just this battering ram type composition. The Winston Diva Moira Lucio. It's not even rush in a way. It's like faster almost. It's a faster rush. Doesn't pack as much punch, but just slams it all at once with that Winston leap coming in. So I'm not a huge fan of that composition, Marks. I'm going to be honest here. You know, they ran it an Owl, and I'm not sure if anyone's told the Owlet teams that Owl had hero bans. Like I'm pretty sure.
Everybody just wants to look up to their heroes, you know?
Yeah, I'm just throwing it out there, but a single Reinhardt just completely counters that comp. If any teams are listening, I'm just letting you know. But I like when you just break out compositions on maps that really favor them.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what we saw.
Yeah.
I loved it. Absolute great play. And then, you know, it works out for them with the Sombra isolating Firebats in that first engagement. Just instant. They capped the point for free pretty much.
Regarding some of your comments that are towards compositions, I would just like to let everybody in the audience know that Spooky is very favored towards Reinhardt, so that kind of makes sense that you would want to throw Reinhardt into that type of composition. But I was going to say, maybe we could name that composition the Battering Ram comp, because I don't think that's been taken by anything else, right? Like, just roll over them with the Moria coalescing in the back line.
It sounds a little better than the pseudo rush. I've got to admit.
That's a little bit more credibility, I would like to think.
Yeah, not intuitive at all. I'm gonna be honest. But once you see it play, you know, you'll kind of figure it out.
Yeah, you will have.
It does look like we are going to jump over to a little break as the teams get ready. But don't go anywhere. We should be back in just a few minutes with the second map of this series, Paradise Tempest versus Los Beefers, coming back on Rialto. Don't go anywhere. We'll see you soon.
Welcome back, everybody. We've got the Lost Beefers to be up against Paradise Tempest. It's week 2, stage 2, baby, in the Owlet tournament as we get ready for map number 2, going to Rialto.
Yeah, PT up 1-0. Their first map actually in stage 2. Just took it. And Paradise Tempest, like we've been saying, they seem back after a rough stumble. You know, you were wondering if this golden team has lost its luster after that 3-0 loss to Crusaders. And suddenly, Azukari's back in the lineup and they look clean.
Yeah. You can't, based on how that first map went, you can't say that the Paradise Shine has been lost at all because they looked just so powerful, so dominant on that first map.
Yeah, and now we're just waiting for them to push into Rialto to see what happens next. I am certainly ready for this, Marks, because if we look back, the first meeting of this teams, like we were talking about before, Paradise Tempest came out on top on control.
Yeah, that's true.
It potentially might be something that favors them a little bit more, lets them run these meta compositions a little bit faster, a little bit more quickly. Beefers took, I believe, both the escort, both of the payload maps, if I'm not mistaken. At least one of them in that 3-2 win. I remember they took Junkertown. So this might be a repeat of history here, Beef Leavers out there, don't give up on your team yet, because this is really where they should be able to shine. They should be able to break out their weird compositions, potentially take advantage of some of their spawn advantages here for Firebats to come out of the hog on point C or something and just get a hook and turn the whole game around. But I'm definitely excited. I want to see Beefers to come on out and see what they've got.
Absolutely, and we can see that the Beefers are setting up for kind of a little bit of an unconventional first point defense here. What can you tell me about these compositions?
Well, the first thing I can say is Murrow is in. Actually, Blue Jay is out, and we see Murrow coming in on the Torb. Now, this is going to be a kind of weird composition in that, Harambe is going to be able to be holding the front line and hopefully making room for the DPS to get damage in. Tambone will be around to res up any mistakes, and then Firebat's just in the back line causing problems. But Lars is on Pharah.
Lars already on this Pharah, and as the gates are going to be opening up here, we can see that they're already, Paradise Tempest is doing such a great job of adding a lot of pressure onto the Beefers, as already they've gotten this back line pick on the Beefers, positioning-wise.
Yeah, and double dive tanks as well. The Los Beefers special on the side of Paradise Tempest. And, you gotta look out for that Harambe. So low. He doesn't have any mobility. His supports have to keep him up or he's gonna get destroyed.
Culture barely escaping with his
Speaking of
life
destroyed.
there. It's going to be Sixus who's going to be falling down first to Murrow. No turret needed for that one. As now it looks like Paradise Tempest are going to be backing off a little bit. Murrow, though, looking for blood against Lars. He might have overextended his arm here, as he can see that Lars is looking for the kill.
Lars is looking for blood. He always is. Almost up to that barrage already. And we're seeing a couple swaps coming out on the side of Paradise Tempest. Sixus going over to that McCree gives him a little bit more of that long-range pressure. Not quite as much as the Ashe. I'm not sure this will do exactly what you want. But we've got Nano coming online. And now that ults are coming online, I think Paradise Tempest are going to start figuring out their real game plan. Get Lars in position. Get Azukari going in with the Nano boost. Let's see what happens. But it's Mankey using his first.
Yeah, and Mankey committing the nano boost a little bit early, in my opinion. It looks like he's trying to get Firebats to do something here, but immediately the nano is just going to be burned down. And even though he's able to get his mines on point, it's kind of a strange move there as Culture just takes out Tailo, just rolling through the enemy team, throwing the mines down, and now this is going to be Paradise Tempest starting to move forwards just a little bit more. Oh, Lars, though, he gets 2 on the back line with the barrage, make it 3. All right, that's going to be half the team done immediately. And now Paradise Tempest, they're going to be very comfortably walking this to point number 1.
Yeah, and you can almost see the difference in priority almost. In Culture, he just ignored Firebats the entire time. Firebats chases him around, and Culture is like, my Winston and my Pharah are diving on the main team here, and I need to contribute. And he rolls through, takes out Tailo. Just completely ignores the Hammond ego duel to really participate and help the dive of his team.
Usually, I hate to see people disrespect the 1v1, but in this case that he was helping out his team, I'll allow it. Good job. Good job, Culture. Good job.
But now, lots of ults coming online. They're more impactful, in my opinion, on the side of Los Beefers. So it's an aggressive push from Azukari, but yeah, you missed the Primal Rage.
Yep, and unfortunately now with Azukari out of this picture, the Beefers are going to get a little bit better positioning. You can see Culture trying to make this a little bit more clear, but with the Bob flying in on the point right now, there's just going to be so much pressure coming around here. Now it's Hidden Squid isolated alone, and the Beefers are going to be stopping this Paradise Rush.
They stop it cold, but you have to wonder if it's a bit of an overinvestment. You know, you kill Azukari without any ultimates, and then you commit 3 with the Valkyrie, the Bob, and the Gravitic Flux to clean up the rest of the team. Maybe, you know, maybe a little bit more than you needed. Now the ult advantage is going to be pretty solidly in the favor of Paradise Tempest. With both a Nano and a Primal Rage, that monkey can live forever in the backline. You've got to watch out for that.
And let's see it go as he's going to be engaging here. Lars taken out of the air almost immediately. You don't see that too often, but Azukari is going to be just on this backline. He's going to be popping that Primal and just pushing back and taking out Talo. They know how dangerous Talo can be, and if he can also get this on a kill, then that is going to be huge for his team, as now the picks are going to be coming through for PT, as they are just going to be starting to roll through.
Complete split of the backline and frontline there, Marks. Did you see how far Azukari had to go to actually contribute to the fight? As Harambe and Firebats just fighting on point, but Mankey out of, you know, Talo on point C gets killed. Mankey goes into the drink. It's just all split up as Lars and Azukari push forward. And now Lars dodging the Pharah now, going over to the Sombra and working up to that EMP.
But that was a great little find by Culture there, as that's going to be 3 members that are kind of just going to be a little bit stuck up there, as we see Paradise Tempest are going to be just fighting on this point. It's going to be an absolute brawl, a lot of wrecking balls hopping up, but with the added turret pressure, Firebats is going to be winning out that 1v1. Maybe that's why Culture didn't want to see it at first, but once again, Paradise Tempest, they have to reset here because there's just so much pressure coming in from the Beefers, pushing them backwards, and they're going to have to rethink their strategy.
Yeah, and they're gonna have to rethink it quickly because, you know, you're running out of time. Like, these fights have been so all over the place. Not really that many team fights going on as much as people just kind of tickling each other back and forth. But that's left us with a minute on the clock, but Lars is building up to this EMP here. And it's so many ults online for the side of Paradise Tempest, but bottom line as well for Los Beefers. It's just gonna be a ult fiesta, but the EMP is so impactful.
Ult Fiesta, the best Fiestas. We're going to be seeing the mines coming in on point with the Molten Core trying to deny a little bit of space here. Lars going to be using the EMP. He does catch 3, but Bob is going to be committed onto point, and that's going to take Lars out of this picture. Culture, though, still able to take out Mankey. They have to deal with this little bit of a precious Bob on this point. There's going to be the grab being thrown up there, taking Azukari out of the picture. There's going to be a res coming in. Trust trying to keep this alive now because they're just at the 30-second mark, and the picks are still coming through for the Beefers as they're able to take out Sixes. The manual hack is going to come out. Firebat's falling extremely low, but is able to escape with his life. Harambe taking out Hidden Squid is going to push back Paradise Tempest once more, as they've only got 13 seconds left, make it 10. Now, they have to do something, and they got to get in here quick to at least start the overtime counter here. As we see that Lars is going to be the one who's going to be moving in here.
Gets rocked out of invisibility?
Be push onto the cart here. The mines have been thrown onto the backline, but PT are fighting back. They're able to take Harambe out of the picture, even though they lost that Sombra. It doesn't matter because Azukari, he finds one. Sixtus finding another. Now the numbers advantage should be going in PT's favor, even if they aren't winning this team fight. If they can push this forwards, they could win it. But never mind, they are winning this team fight because that's a monkey jumping on top of Harambe. You wouldn't see that, and you would expect it to be the other way. But here we are, as now there's only a Firebat's Wrecking Ball rolling around on the point, trying to stall for as long as he can in order for his team to be coming back here. But that is going to be a close capture by Paradise Tempest, barely squeezing by.
We talked about how impactful Azukari is in the lineup. I think we might have understated Marks because that guy just comes alive on the Winston there, gets 4 picks, and just opens up what should have been almost a point B loss for Paradise Tempest. And they just follow it up. They get the kill on Harambe. They can keep pushing here.
look at that aggression. You say that they can keep pushing here, but Taylor's ready to punish them as he's able to take out Sixes. Doesn't matter because Ira's going to get the res onto Azukari, and that's going to be just a lot of pressure with him running around. But Azukari gets mined into position as Muro just comes in with these Reaper shotguns and finishes the job. Now Muro just moving up, trying to get these exit picks, stall them out even longer, but now he's going to be pressured back, and that was good momentum by PT, but they're going to have to reset once again.
Yeah, I love the aggression, but now you're coming up on a lot of ultimates. Once again, really impactful ones too. The Nano and the Gravitic Flux, along with the Bob, could really shut everyone down. But you know what can shut things down, Marcus, as well? That EMP from Lars, absolutely. You know, if Lars gets a big EMP here, it doesn't matter how many ults you have. This could end it. This could knock Harambe out of his Gravitic Flux. This could shut down the Bob. This could do everything and then some. But Sixes going down is so bad.
Yeah, Sixes going down is absolutely terrible. The EMP unfortunately finds two, but Culture throwing in his self-destruct is able to take out both supports for the Beefers. Now, even though that this is a fight on point, they're going to be down their healers, and that Reaper still, once again, just so effective at adding on that pressure because he technically heals himself when he's taking the shotgun shots into the big monkey flying his fists around. But Azukari just bullying Fire Bats here in this little corner. Finally, Bob is going to be coming out just to contest it. We can hear the Death Blossom going on in the background as Mirror able to take out Hidden Squid and Sixes. He's looking for more blood, but he's gonna have to race for him just to survive. Now Firebat's back. He's gonna take Lars out of the air. The picks are coming through for the Beefers as we see Paradise Tempest struggling to just stay on this point. They've got Culture there, but as soon as he falls, that's gonna be a full stop before point number 3 coming out from the Beefers.
Yeah, what a fight. What a fight. And you know, it's not bad for Beefers either. I'm honestly think that's a pretty good hold all in all. You know, they really went toe to toe with Paradise Tempest. And again, you know, it might be history repeating itself a little bit because, you know, they get stomped in map 1 and then suddenly, you know, they're coming back. Even these EMPs from Lars aren't automatic fight wins. And in fact, I think Los Beefers are, you know, 2 EMPs came out and I think Beefers won both of those fights. Just great play by them, especially, you know, holding right here that you see on screen on point B. That's a far way away from spawn for both teams, honestly. But, you know, to get EMP'd and survive there is really just fantastic for Los Beefers. And now, you know, their win condition is set. Get it to the end. Not even. They don't even have to fight in the hard part of point C, you know? They don't have to go inside that, I don't know what it is. Like it looks kind of like a cathedral to me, but I don't think that's right.
Cathedral too.
I don't know why there would be a cathedral there, but maybe it is.
Don't ask. But regardless, well, like you said, Beefers, they've got their win condition, and they're going to be rolling out of their spawn with the momentum that they carried from the last map because they Paradise Tempest down after getting stopped. You know they must be feeling good, and now they're going to be moving into the Paradise double shield composition.
Yeah, but this is going to be a pretty marked change from what we've seen so far during this map marks. You know, the double shield will set up. It's not going to be all over the place like we saw the Wrecking Ball comp. These guys will stand and fight you, and you're going to have to really push them off the cart because they will take these strong positions and they will hold you back.
And look at Muro with this Junkrat immediately already doing so much damage, but not only that, using his mines to just dislocate Paradise Tempest. Thankfully, PT are able to stabilize themselves just off Lars's back, as on this Ashe, he is an absolute menace, able to just do so much damage, and he's going to be burning Muro down from the air. Didn't even have a chance to land before he dies, and PT, once again, looking in charge.
This is going to be so much harder for Los Beefers to push than Paradise Tempest was. Just off the nature of Los Beefers' comp, so much space was given to Paradise Tempest. They only really won 1 point on point A to get the cap. Los Beefers have to win at least 2, maybe even 3, depending on how quickly this goes. They have to move fast. They have to find an opening. They have to shut down this double shield. But Lars is waiting, and he is just so good on the Ashe, man. How do you shut him down?
You don't. You play around it, just try not to get picked. Actually, we did also see Miro swap over from the Junkrat. Now he is on the Hanzo just to help break those shields a little bit. But Harambe is going to be the first one to fall by Sixes. Lars following it up on Tailo. Now, Miro is going to get the exit kill onto Sixes. But once again, Lars just doing so much work, almost gets the Mercy there. Is going to be a little bit cautious, but able to take Mercy out just with the Dynamite. And once again, that's just going to be the Lars show. Projectiles, hit scan, what can't this guy do? What can't this guy do? Yeah.
Nothing. There's nothing Lars can't do, honestly. And it's a good note that you mentioned Muro on the Hanzo, because, you know, you do have that shield break, and you also have that long-range potential to contest Sixtus and Lars. But you're not everywhere at once. You can't do everything. You only shoot one arrow, like, every couple of seconds. Like, and look how much pressure he's under. Yeah, Lars plunks him, then Sixtus takes him out with the Deadeye. And that's 2 ultimates for this hold. We're coming down to a minute and a half, and Beefers have gone nowhere.
PT looks so comfortable. They're doing little jumps for joy by the sight of it, and now Firebat's just looking for a little bit of an opening. He's going to be trying and dislocating their positioning just a bit, knock them off of that high ground. That's going to be the Bob coming in, but is immediately taken out by Sixus, with a Supercharger did come online, but is going to be shot down. The Flux is coming online as well. A lot of ultimates being expended in this battle here, but once again, even though the Beefers are going to be moving this thing forward, PT is still very much alive, and with Azukari punishing Firebats, this is already looking like Paradise Tempest should be winning out this team fight. We see the Beefers have to back up. They don't even notice Culture in the back line, just dropping those balls into their, honestly, their back line, and that's going to be Harambe falling down with Azukari adding that frontal pressure. Suddenly they're down 2 tanks and only 30 seconds on this clock, as once again, PT, they're getting close to getting their ultimates online.
No, Culture's just able to stand above them, raining down the damage, and nobody's checking him. He's just getting so much work done. It kind of excuses Lars walking into a mine in the beginning of that fight. They have to come alive now. The Gravitic Flux Dragon Strike combo has to get something done for them, or they're just gonna go down 2-0 here.
And the Dragon Strike is going to be coming out here. It's going to add a little bit of pressure onto the high ground, but it actually isn't going to be taking anybody out. It's just going to be a good old-fashioned arrow onto Culture. But immediately, the res comes out from Ira. So risky, but so high reward. Hidden Squid trading out Mankey. And now the Flux is coming online for Harambe. But unfortunately, he gets stunned out of it with another dueling rock. You've got to be kidding, man. He is on the hunt for Sixes. Sixes is going to fall down. But once again, this is just Paradise Tempest. Lars and Hidden Squid taking this and just putting it on their shoulders with that Azukari Supercharger are just going to seal the deal. They didn't even get to point number 1, and Paradise Tempest is going to be taking our series 2-0.
Absolutely dominant, Marks. You know, I was questioning after that attack from Paradise Tempest. It looked rough. They were swapping up a lot. They weren't quite comfortable. They weren't quite sure what they were doing. It wasn't working out for them. But that defense, they were so clean.
Whew.
You know, like, what can you even say about that? Just everyone, like, firing on all cylinders, everyone contributing. And I think it's you know, it's a role that doesn't get that much recognition, but Ira on this Mercy does so much for this team. Some of the riskiest reses she gets away with. It's absolutely nuts. You know, they isolate Culture. You know, Culture has no movement abilities. They take him down. They take control of the high ground, and then Ira just gets that res off somehow, and then it comes back with the Flux. And it's just, you gotta deny those if you're gonna win. It's so rough, Marks.
Culture was just like, all right, I'm going to try something a little nutty. Just be ready just in case it goes south, guys. And then it's just like, oh, this is not working out. And then Ira was just like, you know what? I got you, fam. Just going to get that res off. I don't even care if they might beat me down because I'm Ira and I am very confident in these Mercy reses. And it worked out perfectly as Culture re-entered that fight. And once again, Paradise Tempest. Well, also, too, keep in mind that they were playing their most comfortable composition, but that absolutely showed during that. Wow.
To be fair, you know, they played that against Crusaders, and it looked rough. They kind of fell apart, but once again, Azukari back in this lineup, and everything seems to be clicking. Even without Rigmadon, you know, their main flex support. I don't know. He plays the Lucio, he plays the Zen. Yeah, he's kind of an enigma for what I said, from what I've seen. But you know, without Rigmadon and Hidden Squid, Hidden Squid really takes the reins pretty well and just comes into the squad and integrates himself really, really well. It looks great. And then, Paradise Tempest up 2-0 over a team they've struggled against before.
Yeah.
And the storyline here, Marks, Paradise Tempest got to pick who goes into their division.
Yep.
And their second pick was Paradise Tempest. Or not Paradise Tempest, I'm sorry. Their second pick was Los Beefers. They were like, we know these guys gave us a hard time. We want to go against them again.
Yes.
And this is what you come up with.
I do remember that in a little bit of an interview with the Paradise Tempest team, they had actually mentioned that when they were picking their division, they wanted to pick teams that were going to challenge them the most. And based on the last time that they fought the Beefers, taking it all the way to the very end, you could tell that Paradise Tempest was looking for... Redemption doesn't feel like the right word, but they're like, we want to practice against this team. We want to build so that we are able to counter this team and we can show that we've been working towards it. And to their credit, right now, that is exactly what they're bringing out, and that's exactly what they're showing us.
And it looks so clean. Those defenses especially, it just looks fantastic. I'm really loving what I'm seeing from Paradise Tempest. And I just want to have a quick shout out to my co-hosts on the Nest this last week, Misfit and Amintus, who both, they were like, their Preds came out with Los Beefers taking this one. As the only Paradise Tempest believer on the Nest, I feel validated.
Yeah, there we go.
Spooky, if you guys want to message me and tell me that I am the best analyst in Owlet, feel free. Go right ahead. Because Misfit, I am.
Amintus, I am just going to take this moment right now to publicly decree that it is only Spooky saying this right now, and I got nothing to do with this. Please don't come after me at all. I think you guys are fantastic analysis. It's just this guy over here thinks he might just be a little bit better.
Yeah, but I mean, you really can't count out a team like Paradise Tempest, like they have so much history of being a good team.
Mm-hmm.
And it's nice to see them come back out on top. And, Beefers, I do think they have a lot of potential. I think they've kind of hit their rhythm. And they have to realize that's going to be play like this that they're going to have to go up against if they go through to the playoffs, if they go through to the finals, if they're going to be fighting against, again, our Paradise Tempests, our Team Gralulus, our Otter Oxides, some of the better teams. Like, Los Beefers have to be able to deal with this kind of pressure, turn it on, and, turn it on its head pretty much. Like, be able to take down these comps if they want to make a run in playoffs.
Absolutely. And you could just see the Beavers, they didn't know what to do against that double shield composition. I mean, the last time that these two teams did face off each other, the Beavers looked a little bit more comfortable here. But, they got to change it up for this next map here. Otherwise, they risk being just completely shut out 3-0.
Yeah, it's going to be close. It's going to be rough. But we are going to go to a quick break before we actually get to see this map. It's going to be Kings Row. I'm excited. We might actually see Reinhardt's coming out for the first time in this series. So I'd definitely like to see some of that. But both teams are still setting up. They need a little bit more time before we go into that map. So we are going to go to a quick break. Don't go anywhere. This game still could go either way. Beefers given Paradise Tempest a hard time before. Let's see if they're able to clutch it out and bring it back, potentially go back to that map 5 we've seen these teams go again. I'm excited. I can't wait to see what comes next. Please don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with Los Beefers versus Paradise Tempest right after this break.
Welcome back, everybody. It's stage 2, week number 2. We've got the Lost Beefers to be up against Paradise Tempest. Now, we're going to be going to our third map here. Paradise Tempest are leading this series 2-0. 2-0. No, that still makes sense. All right, cool. But we are now going to be going to our third match. Don't make fun of me here. Give me a minute, all right? But we're going to be going to Kings Row. Well, everybody loves Kings Row. It's just such a classic map, you know?
It is. It is a classic, and it is a map where we generally see different comps than what have been run so far. We don't see a lot of these wrecking balls that both teams have been playing. We don't see much of the double shield. It's normally like your main tank is pretty much either Reinhardt or Winston, depending on what you want to do. Both these teams, they're not really Reinhardt fans. I'm hoping, like, if you don't break it out on Kings Row, when do you bring out the Rein, right? But neither of these teams, Azukari does, he seems comfortable on the Winston, the Orisa. Firebats likes everything but the Reinhardt, it seems like.
All the off
even breaking out the Hog sometimes. But so I'm excited to see what these teams come up with. But I do think, potentially Reinhardt Rush comps could change the tone of the game. Paradise Tempest generally have avoided them, but the problem is Beefers have as well. So, potentially we're going to see the same kind of thing if they keep running out on these compositions. I really hope Beefers have something special for Kings Row. Really come alive. But, Blue Jay's back in the lineup. He's going to be on the tour potentially. So maybe Blue Jay's a tour one trick, but maybe it's better than Murrow on that hero. Maybe that can come alive.
Yes,
but,
of course. Well,
without the swaps, it just has to be individual plays and team synergy that keep it alive. But Paradise Tempest, they're going to go with the double shield on the defense. They just want to set Sixus and Hidden Squid up to do so much damage behind these shields.
And now this is going to be the Beefers fighting for survival against Paradise Tempest, as PT are going to be moving out here. Already they're able to just get so much space and push out, as we can see that this is going to be the Beefers looking for something to do, something to mess up this composition. The double shields just allow for just so much more pressure, sustained pressure, as they're just going to be walking on point.
Yeah, and they get to move for free. They get their rotations for free. They get to set up on point. They get to go on the high ground. You need to be able to punish that, most Beefers do, or you're just going to fall apart, because Paradise Tempest get the free positioning and they take out Firebats.
You know who's going to be punishing somebody? It's actually going to be Lars, punishing the entire back line of the Beefers. Finally punished himself by Talo. So much punishment going all over the place, but Paradise Tempest look like they're coming out on top of it, because they still have these shields on here. So they're very happy to just camp it on point, rely on that shield pressure just to keep everybody alive. Now we see that the amplification matrix is dropped out by Ira, but that's going to be met with a giant boulder that's going to just hit him right square in the face. With Ira falling down, that isn't going to be good for a heal situation here. But once again, the Beefers are just not set up on this point at all. And even without really getting a full team fight going, that's going to be PT with point 1.
That's just a compositional advantage, Marks. Like, it does so much. These heroes want to set up on point, and most Beefers just let them. They let Azukari and Culture just rotate around, stand on point, and that's all they had to do. They were losing that fight. They had the advantage of the spawn being so close. That's something that went going for them, so Paradise Tempest members got back more quickly. But that was not a lost fight by any means for Los Beefers. They just don't have the heroes to stand tall.
Honestly, I don't even think that was necessarily a fight. It was just a little bit of a trade and then a wrecking ball flying around. And already we can see PT are just going to be getting so much momentum here. Culture busting out the flux, going to be lifting up some of the members here, as he's just going to collapse on top of the DPS line for the Beefers, and that's just so much pressure. Completely just running over the Beefers now. Paradise Tempest are rolling this thing forwards.
Culture coming down like something out of a cartoon, he just flies up and slams down. But speaking of people coming down, it's Firebats with the double kill on the pile driver. Culture and Lars, this is an opportunity for Beefers to push forward in a 4v6 scenario. I can speak. That's fine.
Yes,
you do play-by-play.
You made fun of me for not being able to talk, but how the tables have turned, as once again the Beefers, they're going to just be pushing back Paradise Tempest, as we see Culture on a Roadhog now.
If I was a betting man, I would not say Culture would be the first one to break out the Roadhog on this map. But here he comes. I mean, it combos well with the Orisa that Azukari wants to stick on that. Not a lot of shields in the way of these hooks. Not a lot to walk. Look at that. Look at that.
And that's what you need if you want to start off this point, as once again that opening pick onto Harambe now is just going to allow for so much forward momentum, but the Molten Core is actually going to deny so much space, as once again positionally the Beefers have won this out just off the back of that Molten Core, as Paradise Tempest once again have to reset.
Once again, you know, we see an overcommitment of ultimates for Los Beefers. It's been a trend throughout this whole series so far, I think, and it's going to come back to bite them. You know, both DPS ults and it looks like both support ults used in that engagement versus just a couple of ults coming out from Paradise Tempest, and they're going to be coming up on that supercharger and that window. That combo can put down so much damage if Los Beefers aren't ready for it.
And they have to be prepared for Lars and Sixes, who have completely swapped their compositions over to something else. But out comes the Supercharger. We're going to be seeing a flux from Harambe, but they're going to be trying to shoot him out of the air as the Transcendence from Hidden Squid is going to be popped just to keep everybody alive. Now, the Amplification Matrix also dropped on Ira, but Mankey is going to just take 2 out. Okay, Mankey, you should stay in Pokemon because you're just doing too much work in this Overwatch game here, as he's also just going to be pressuring back Azukari as well. Now, finally, he is being driven back by this Reaper in the form of Lars, but it's still looking like Lost Beefers are in charge here, as they've only got half the team for Paradise Tempest that are moving forwards here, and PT once again have to reset.
But the main thing is that this card is pushed forward so much. So, you know, Los Beefers won't have the crossfire that they've had for so long on so many parts. It looks like they might still win this fight, but moving that cart that far should be a win for Paradise Tempest. When they come into this next battle, they should be able to do a lot more. They might actually come up on top of this one. Los Beefers overextending a bit, but no, this is over. Paradise Tempest gonna fall here.
Yes, and Blue Jay now also has this Molten Core, which could be ample opportunity to deny positioning, especially for heroes like that Sombra, like that Reaper. It's going to be a little bit difficult.
Yeah, and I do like this Sombra switch late. Sixes is going to have a bit of a hard time building up the EMP, but if he gets it, that should be the second point for Paradise Tempest. But they have to play this cleanly. Only a minute left on the clock. Beefers have done a pretty good job of holding them back. This could be, you know, this could end Paradise Tempest here. This could be a win for Beefers at the end of point B. That's a great pick.
That's Blue Jay takes out Sixes before the fight.
You're not building EMP
begins.
Charge marks.
And that's exactly
you can't build EMP charge if you're dead.
That's the win condition. That's the win condition for Paradise Tempest. Now you can see that they are scrambling. They're on that back line there, taking out the turret, but with a Wrecking Ball running through here, that's going to be a lot of additional pressure. Now, the Coalescence is going to come out from Ira. Maybe watching Culture take the bullet in form of that rock to make sure that the Coalescence is still good. That's going to be a Gravitic Flux coming out from Harambe, but he's going to get hacked out of it as the Self-Destruct comes down. Now, this is going to be PT on this point, just holding it strong as it's the pincer mechanic coming in from the Beefers, surrounding and killing Paradise Tempest. Once again, the Beefers in charge of this. There's only 3 seconds left. Can anyone from PT come back and touch? That's going to be Culture, but he's immediately already taken out of mech as the Molten Core is going to be coming online. Culture just keeping this alive for his team. Now Lars popping his Death Blossom is able to find Tambone, especially before that Transcendence came out from Mankey, which is absolutely massive. Now it's Hidden Squid on the point right now with Lars. Lars so close, but Lars is going to fall down as well. That Wrecking Ball is just a little bit too much. Azukari committing the sound barrier just to keep it alive, but it isn't enough as the Beefers have stopped the storm.
And that looked fantastic, you know, the whole time. Paradise Tempest didn't really win a fight during that entire map marks. They got lucky on point A that Los Beefers, their composition wasn't really set up to contest the point. But we saw what the composition was made to do. You know, you've got the Ash, the Zen, the Torb. It's just so much spam. There's so much damage coming down, and when you're running like a shield comp with the Orisa, you're not getting out of the way of that at all. Like, Azukari is going to have such a hard time pushing forward, and then if he's having a hard time, the whole team's having a hard time just trying to get down these long corridors, these streets to the point was so hard for them. Paradise Tempest really had a lot of trouble on their offense, and you know, this is an opportunity for Los Beefers, but we saw the same thing happen on Rialto, like Paradise Tempest struggling to move it forward. and then just being dominant on the defense. But these are a bit of a different composition coming out with the double sniper, hog, ball. This is not the double shield marks.
No, it isn't the double shield.
This is the zero shield.
They looked really comfortable on last time. So this is going to be really interesting to see how PT are going to be playing this. But now the Beefers, they've got a very clear win condition established. It's just after point number 1, baby. And now they're going to be rolling out with all the confidence in the world, ready to turn this thing around. As we see Blue Jay, he's on this Symmetra, as it's going to be a teleporting Bastion strat. You never expect it coming. But thankfully, because of this double sniper composition, they might be able to punish that Bastion right away because he's got to look in so many different angles. Lars able to take out Blue Jay. Six is finding Talo. Looks like this is all coming up PT as of right now. Six is just... He's completely uncontested, just plinking in damage onto that Bastion. And now that's just going to be the Beavers having to push back this Widow Hanzo. Hey, the snipers, they came through. They don't need no shields. They're too good for shields.
And that's rough because that would have busted a double shield comp marks.
Oh, yeah.
You don't expect that. That comes down. You just roll through both the shields. You push forward on the low ground. But they weren't running double shield. They were so split up. They were able, just from their composition, able to punish that Bastion. And now suddenly they have a massive ult advantage. But Hidden Squid going down is an opportunity for those Beefers.
And you can see the Beefers are just going to be moving in. Culture going to try and delay as long as he can, but Firebats is now in this back line, and he's able to find Lars. Blue Jay finding sixes. The DPS for the Paradise Tempest are completely down as Ira falls as well. They are all over this point, and they're going to be swarming in as this should be first cap with Azukari falling.
Yeah, and this should be like a gold mine of squishy targets for Firebats to dive on. You know, we're gonna see some swaps coming out now. You know, Azukari over to the Winston, Lars on the Genji as well. Maybe some comfort picks as Hidden Squid goes over to the Ana as well. These, I mean, the Nanoblade's good. You know, you can get that pick, you can get that fight win pretty much. And Lars, you know, he's gonna get the win if he has the Nanoblade. But what are you gonna do beyond that is the question. Like, can you hold for this long for 5 minutes with this composition?
Oh, you can if you take 3 out right off the back. Once again, Sixes and Lars coming alive here. Lars really wants that Nanoblade, so he's just going to be charging it up as quickly as he can. As the Beefers, they got to reset here.
Yeah, I mean, maybe there's a way, like, if you trust Lars with the blade and maybe Ira with a damage boost, you can potentially get away with using the Nano on Azukari and then trying to cycle those ultimates. But it's so long, and now Six is already down. Like, you need to win this fight quickly, or they're like a couple fights away from losing.
Oh, but Blue Jay is going to get the Nano, and now he's going to let the Death Blossom come out as he's able to find Sixes. There's a lot of mines around, though, and he's just discerning which ones are his. As once again, the Beefers, they win this battle out, and now they're going to be moving this cart forwards.
That's fight 1 marks. They only need 2 fights to win, and the spawn is so far away. If they can clean up some of these kills, this is it. Paradise Tempest cannot come back from this if they lose too many members.
Firebat's just so comfortable on this Wrecking Ball, able to just slam onto Azukari's face as he was being healed up. And look at this position that the Beefers have now taken.
And they have the Flux even. They can just lift him up and knock him down. It has to be Sixes or Culture touching, but I'm not even sure they can get there in time.
Culture is on point. He is going to slam down, but he's already being contested by Blue Jay on this Reaper. Sixes is going to make his way in as well. Now the Flux is going to be coming out as he's a sit-in target up in the air. Culture falling down, but this is going to be a brawl onto this point right now. Blue Jay, though, with the advantage, able to take out Azukari. Now they're just trickling in. Ira spinning for his life, trying to make sure that he's alive, but unfortunately, they fall down as the Beefers are going to be taking this series 1-2.
And they crush. That was dominant coming out from Beefers. They looked so much better than Paradise Tempest on that map, on those compositions. You know, Paradise Tempest coming on attack, and Beefers do a very split composition. They really take advantage of all the high ground and these little nooks and crannies on King's Row. You know, you had them pretty much sitting everywhere and attacking from 3 different angles. And then on their attack, Paradise Tempest runs a very strange composition that Firebats really gets to take advantage of, I think. You know, you don't have a diva to peel for your Zenyatta, so Zen's just kind of a sitting duck. You really don't have that much healing. You can't keep your snipers alive. It's very tough. to actually keep everyone alive against a good Wrecking Ball. And Firebats is one of the best Wrecking Balls we have in Owlet right now. You know, he loves the hero.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And it just seemed like a bad composition to play into Los Beefers specifically. They even come out in the Bastion at first and just throw away the first fight. They throw away a bunch of ult charge because it doesn't work out for them. But they just turn it around pretty easily with that one hero, that Wrecking Ball.
What I imagine happened was in the Beefers practice room, they were like, all right, these guys definitely going to be busting out this double shield. We're going to surprise them with the Bastion, and it's going to be great. And then as soon as that kind of failed, they were like, hold up a minute. They're all playing Scattered. Hold up a minute. Firebats loves playing Wrecking Ball. Wait a second. We have a strategy right now. And it worked out completely as they were able to
the gears start churning.
Yeah, like Firebats just like, this is my moment. I've been training my entire life for this fight. And then suddenly it was just a free reign for Firebats. And you could just see him rolling around the map, just able to put so much pressure onto the individual targets because they were scattered all over the place. Paradise Tempest just looked scattered.
Yeah, they looked awful. Like, what a reversal so far, Marks, from, you know, they smacked Beefers around on Ilios.
Oh, yeah.
100 to 0, then like 100 to 40 or 50. You come in on Rialto, they struggle a bit on attack, then they slap them again on defense. And you push into King's Row, like one halftime break later, and it's like crickets. It's like, it's literally like crickets got into the keyboards to play for Paradise Tempest because it's like a night and day switch. They just didn't seem super comfortable in the compositions against what Beefers were running. They weren't quick to adapt against what was thrown against them, and they just started to crumble.
Yeah, little known fact about that good old Pinocchio fairy tale. Jiminy Cricket actually bronze in Overwatch. And so you don't want the Crickets to be playing, especially if you're going to be in a tournament situation.
Jiminy Cricket is a Genji one trick. He's a bronze Genji one trick.
Spamming the heal me, I need healing.
He's wishing upon a star to get to GM.
Well, now the Beefers, they're showing their signs of life, and they've taken this to 1-2. Once again, based on the last lineup, it is possible for the Beefers to come back here. But if Paradise Tempest shows us what they have shown us in the first two maps, then it should be a quick step out here. But I don't want to discount the Beefers because they looked very dominant on this third map.
Literally night and day. Like, very, very much different. I'm excited to see if Beefers are able to keep up this level of performance because they did look good. You know, they were adaptable. They were able to really take apart this composition for Paradise Tempest. They see 9.A. Okay. But that's like the only thing they did badly in that map. And to be fair, it's kind of hard to see 9 if your composition doesn't really have any members who can really touch the point.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's just a problem with your composition. You have to keep the ball on point, really.
But
they looked good. They really didn't seem to lose any of those fights, and their composition was just very well suited to picking apart. And that's really what it was. They were picking apart Paradise Tempest. Just so much damage coming in from all sides, and then you come back and you just punish them. Like so much from Firebats getting the first pick on the hidden squid that happened time and time again during that King's Row defense for Paradise Tempest. Great plays, great understanding of what their composition's trying to do.
And you know what else, Spooky? Didn't see any Reinhardts on that map at all.
For some reason. Mark.
How do you think the
it's
Reinhardt
not banned, guys? Like, you can play Rein.
How do you think the Reinhardt would have worked if one of these teams busted that out?
Well, I mean, definitely would move faster, you know, for Paradise Tempest. Like, you don't have to wait for the shield. Like, you're able to, you know, move a little bit faster. Potentially, you're running it with the Lucio. So if they're using that on their attack on point B, you know, potentially you could wrap around that right side on the attack, go up the stairs and just punish them on the rush comps. And something like that, instead of just running it down main with so many, like, much snipers on every single side of you. You got the Torb, the Ashe, you got like the Sigma on a different side, and they're just all raining down fire on you. It's definitely, you can move a little less linear with the Reinhardt, surprisingly. But
Kind of counterintuitive.
it didn't happen. It didn't happen.
It didn't
and we are
happen.
going to Hanamura next.
Yeah, so both of these teams are going to be going. It's going to be Paradise Tempest on the attack first as we move to map number 4, Hanamura.
Yeah, I'm excited to see what's going to come out of Paradise Tempest's attack because they haven't looked that great, Marks. It really does seem like PT is struggling on the attack in comparison to their defenses. That is my main takeaway from this series. And it could really punish them on, such a defensive favored map like Hanamura or any 2CP. This could be going once again to a Los Beefers Paradise Tempest map 5.
I hope it becomes a nail biter because you know what? At the end of the day, good Overwatch, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Absolutely not. But we're going to see Los Beefers break out on the same kind of comp they've been running this whole time. They've really favored this Wrecking Ball Sigma. So, but this time, you've got Blue Jay on the Pharah, so you're really split in a lot of ways. You've got the Ball on his own, then the Sigma, Ashe, and BAP, and if together as potentially set up on this high ground, as like your backline almost, then you've got Blue Jay and Mankey in the sky.
Yep,
but it looks like we're going to see a bit of a dive comp from Paradise Tempest. If they can break the Sigma, like the Sigma Talo or the Sigma Ashe BAP, this could be all over for the defense. I'd like to see this dive. I want to see if they can make it work.
And now Paradise Tempest, they want to take this one home. They just need to win one more map, and then they're going to win these series up against the Beefers. And so they're going to be rushing forwards here, using their everything that they've got to try and turn this around, stop the bad offense, and bring it home.
Yeah, and this is a comp they're comfortable on, the dive. So let's see if it actually works out for them against the comfort picks from Los Beefers. This is the best of both teams, I would say. These are the comps they do really excel at. So let's see who will actually come out on top.
Yep, and we can see a little bit of an engagement going on here on this side as Azukari falls down because he's being pressured by Talo, and it's a Wrecking Ball, but Blue Jay able to take Culture out. Lars going to be trading that one back. So once again, Beefers, they're able to stop this Paradise Tempest advance as the Res is going to come out onto Blue Jay, and Paradise Tempest still haven't gotten onto that first point yet.
Yeah, we saw Azukari actually want that mega health pack in the back, and it turned out Firebats was there already, and it kind of fell apart. But, the dive falls apart once. Again, let's see what they're going to get out of this. They want to build up to that nano boost and see what they can get done there. They're pretty close to these support ultimates. Let's see once those come online, if the engage will be a little stronger. Hopefully Firebats can even get out here.
Yeah, and Firebats just rolling away, finally able to break through it all as we just see Lars completely out of position because of that boop. Six is able to find Talo though, so they're going to be trading that, but it's going to be Blue Jay coming through with the barrage. That's just going to add so much damage on the backline. A Pulse Bomb is tossed out, able to take out Firebats, but once again, right now, the numbers advantage is in favor of the Beefers. So, with that res, once again, Beefers looking tight on this defense.
Yeah, Blue Jay with only one ultimate stalls the defense or the offense for Paradise Tempest here. And then Azukari really has not been getting much done, Marcus. 47% on the ultimate. And we're going to see swaps coming out from Paradise Tempest. A lot of them, actually. They don't think this is working. They're going to go for more of the Sombra-based, just battering ram almost composition. Yeah, they even throw away the nano to try and get this done. They completely give up, and they're playing for the EMP.
Yeah, and the battering ram worked last time. Let's see if it can work again. It's going to be a little bit more difficult with Blue Jay in the sky, adding in a lot of pressure here. But finally, they're able to make their way onto point 1 as they're getting that first tick on. Ira is going to fall down, and Blue Jay with Harambe are just going to be doing more damage as this looks like, once again, the Beefers are just going to be in control. The battering ram has been defeated by a Pharah and a Wrecking Ball.
So this is so bad for Paradise Tempest, Marks. I can't overstate it. Azukari not even getting a Primal Rage yet. 3 minutes in. He has been non-existent. The MVP of the first 2 maps suddenly shut down. And now so many impactful ults on the side of Los Beefers, and they only really need to win one more fight, one more good fight, and Paradise Tempest will be scrambling to get on point. They're nowhere close to the EMP. They're not even close to the Coalescence. This is their fight to lose.
Oh, but Harambe is going to be the first one who gets picked down by Ira. Firebats is able to take out Ira, though, and that's a lot of healing shut down now as it's going to be a barrage that gets hacked out there. Azukari, though, popping the Primal, finally builds it up. Now he's just going to be pressuring Bob around on this point, as that's going to be a lot of picks coming through. But is it going to be enough? Now he is alone on this point and has to back off just to get some healing on there. But they still have Lars on the point, barely surviving here. Ira just trying to stay alive in order to keep people alive for this final push as that counter is counting down. There's only 3 seconds left. We see Azukari engaging in here. He's got a lot of health, but not a lot of health if you're up in the air, as Harambe gets the 2 kill with that fantastic grab. Finally, the EMP is built up and the EMP is launched. It's able to find a couple there, but they need to be able to get picks. If they can't get any picks, then this is looking like it's all over for Paradise Tempest. They only got 1 tick onto this point, and that's going to be the Beaver stopping them before they even capture point number 1.
Absolutely brutal, Marks. Paradise Tempest attacks have not been non-existent, really. This whole series, they just cannot get it together. They cannot figure out how they want to engage. Azukari on the Winston the entire time barely builds up a Primal Rage. He gets a little bit done with it, but Ira had fallen first in that fight, and you were only working with Lucio healing. They're lucky they got a tick. And it's just because they swapped compositions to that, the battering ram rush comp. It's the only reason. They just rushed their way on the point and got that 40% before Los Beefers were even able to touch. But Los Beefers tore them apart. Again, this is insane to me how night and day these first 2 maps have been, or these last 2 maps have been, versus the first 2.
Absolutely, and now the Beefers are in a great position to potentially tie this series up 2-2 and force that map number 5, really dragging this to the end here. It looks incredibly possible. They just have to get a single tick on point number 1. Oh, sorry, a little bit more than a single tick than on point number 1, but that is extremely doable for them because they're just looking so dominant here. And Paradise Tempest, once again, they might be really good on this defense, but based on the last map, it didn't work out too well for them. So as these doors are going to be opening up now, the Beefers are ready to take it, as it looks like they're finally going to be getting the Reinhardt a little bit of playtime.
And their composition reflects their win condition. They're just going to teleport straight to point and dare them to come into this Reaper Reinhardt comp. This is so hard to do.
And the teleporter is already online, Lars being able to beam down the immortality field. That's going to make sure that they can actually get these picks onto it. Sixus, though, is able to find Firebats. That is a great opening kill. Blue Jay, though, is able to punish Lars. Now it's going to be Culture taking out Tailo. Blue Jay on the flank, though, able to take out Hidden Squid, and suddenly the Paradise Tempest don't have their healer, as Blue Jay is just single-handedly turning this fight around for the Beefers, able to sustain himself, too, just getting so much damage in here. As Azukari this time, he's not waiting around to build his ultimate up, as he's already got it. He is trying to take out this Reaper, but it's just too much. This Reaper was unstoppable on this first point. Now they're capping it up. They've got 4 members alive. We're gonna see Lars come through on this Tracer just to stall this out, but it isn't enough. Now they've got point no one run, and that's gonna be the Beefers tying up the series 2-2.
It's not only they have the spawn advantage, right? But they also have the teleporter. The fight was so scrappy, but Blue Jay really does come alive, and that flank was so important because Paradise Tempest cannot get members back like Beefers can, and they have so much more sustain on point, and Blue Jay just absolutely coming alive. It was beautiful. It was glorious to watch, and he just walks forward. There's no one there to contest him. Azukari does his absolute best to come out on top. Does so much work. It's like 4 picks. Gets his Primal Rage in like 30 seconds. But it's not enough. You don't have that spawn advantage. It's just so sad to see Paradise Tempest being so strong on this defense. They like look good on the defense. They didn't look bad at all. If that wasn't a 40% to win, they would have come back into that fight and potentially gotten somewhere. But they had already lost on their attack.
Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to kind of make of that, because the Beefers are coming alive. That's the only way to say it right now. We thought after those first 2 maps, Paradise Tempest, easy. That Misfit, that Amintus guy, they don't know what they're talking about.
Okay, let's not talk about them.
They might know what they're talking about right now, because it looks like the Beefers are coming back, and they might pull off the reverse sweep in this map.
I don't know who those people are. It's just no idea. It's I wouldn't. No idea. But it's like a PT Beefer's curse that has to go to map 5. You know,
Yeah.
like it's not quite in the same way, but it's just nuts that there's such night and day performances from these teams. But it's all coming down to control. And so far, in all the matchups we've seen, this will be the 4th time Paradise Tempest and Beefers play each other on a control map. PT is 3-0. They have not lost control against Beefers. But I don't think they've ever looked as mortal as they do right now. They truly look like they just ran out of steam. Like they're just not playing together like they have been. It's so tough to see. They need to come alive on control if they want to pull this one back out. But Los Beefers, they're riding the momentum.
Oh, they
It's
100% are. You know, all the beef leafers out there, this is your time. You got to support your team because if history is to repeat itself, last time this happened, we went to our final, point number 3 on map number 5, but Paradise Tempest came out on top. Is that going to be the case this time? The Beefers want to challenge that. They might be able to correct history's course and suddenly turn it around in their favor. However, based on previous matches, I don't know. Paradise Tempest also looked very dominant on our very first control map. So they could win this out as well. There's too much information to process right now.
Yeah, I mean, Paradise Tempest looked really, really clean on control. This might be something they're a little bit more comfortable with, you know? Potentially, you can move Lars over to a position where he really kind of gets free reign on either the Ashe or the Pharah. You're not pushing into a composition set up to defend against you, right? It's more just two teams clashing. No one has this defender's advantage, which has really seemed to be what Paradise Tempest can't break. They just don't know how to push forward on their attack. But with even an even map, this might be where they actually get to come alive again. And they're going to need it because they have looked awful these last couple of maps.
Yeah, I mean, I just want to highlight something that you said where, Azukari on the first 2 maps, he came alive. But then suddenly on these last 2 maps, it seemed like the Beavers realized that maybe he's the problem and we're shutting him down massively.
Yeah, it's true. But honestly, it seemed like Beefers were just firing on all cylinders. They suddenly they came alive. They knew what they wanted to engage. Firebats was doing so much work on the back line. He was really not getting shut down at all. I want to throw back to that first map, where Firebats rolls in, gets hacked, and then just gets collapsed upon.
Yeah.
We haven't seen that, even with these late swaps over to the Sombra, and they're always late. It seems like Paradise Tempest know when their comp's not working, and they're like, we just have to hope for an EMP. Mm-hmm. It seems like a desperation pick to move over to these Sombra compositions. It's not working. They're not having enough time to get these ultimates online.
Yeah, I really think that since they've allowed Firebats to kind of roll around in their back line a lot more, he's been just putting in so much work, dislocating the PTs, higher hitting players and stuff like that, because it was common to see Sixus and Lars playing that double sniper composition. They prepared for this. And who's the best person to contest that type of stuff? A giant wrecking ball. And that's exactly what Firebats has been allowed to do. Before, Paradise Tempest were really quick on punishing Firebats for kind of rolling around too far away from his team, not able to get the heals. But in these last 2 maps, he's just been going ham.
Yeah, and it's a good point there. The DPS have been very quiet on the side of Paradise Tempest. This isn't something you see normally from Lars, let alone Sixus. Sixus is very good on his own, but Lars has always been the shining star of this team, and you barely see him in the kill feed.
Yes,
it's rough. It's rough to watch, but hopefully both teams have been able to reset and bring out their A game for this last map. Or otherwise, Beefers are going to stomp all over PT, take that win that was promised to them in stage 1, and finally hold it over. And Paradise Tempest will go down to 0-2. In the division they picked. They chose every single member in this division.
That's right, they did. And this is going to be the map to see whether or not that happens as we load into Busan. All right, double control map. Let's see what these two teams want to do here. Will Lost Beefers to be able to pull off the reverse sweep on Paradise Tempest, or will Paradise Tempest finally get their first win in Stage 2? This team has gone to the finals in Stage 1. They've got a lot to prove here, and they're being stomped out right now, and they must be hungry for this win.
If you told me there would be a reverse sweep at the end of map 2, I would have laughed. I would have thought it was ridiculous. You know, at the beginning of King's Row, I was like, all right, time to wrap up the cast, go take a nap or something, go to bed early. Not gonna happen. And now we're coming up on the first map, Sanctuary. This is the most ball-favored maps of all the points on Busan. It's very open up, a lot of room to roll around, flank into the backline. This should be a good map for Beefers.
As we can see already, they're favoring the Torb here as well. Hopefully anticipating that dive composition coming out from PT, but immediately we're just going to be getting into the action, as that's going to be a slam with Talo following up on Azukari. But Sixes is able to find Mankey in that backline, so they are going to be missing their flex support there. With Firebats being punished down, now this is looking like Paradise Tempest should be in control of the momentum, as they're going to be the ones who get that first cap, just picking off that Torb turret.
Yeah, and Sixes just collapsing on Mankey, getting that early pick. You don't have the Discord. It's a little bit harder for, you know, the Wrecking Ball to get those kills without it. But Firebats is going to swap over to the Winston here. Try and get that cleave damage on this group together composition. Let's see if it'll work out.
And here we go. The teams are going to be once again engaging. It's going to be dueling tickle beams coming out from both of our monkeys here, as we see Azukari go for the engage on top of that turret. Just want to shutting it down, but Mankey's going to be the one shutting down Sixes. And without that tracer, suddenly the dives become a lot less effective. Mankey has been so good at throwing on those orbs to the right target, allowing his team to just dive in. And once again, it looks like the Beefers are just going to be winning out these team battles now. They found their solution, and it's going to be Mankey with the Discord orbs being able to take out those first couple of picks and then just throw in his orbs on the rest of them.
Mankey doing so much work, getting Sixes back to back. Not something you normally see. The Zenyatta getting vengeance for all flex supports by killing the Tracers. But now there are a lot of ults coming online, and Sixes swaps over to the Reaper to potentially punish, you know, the Winston, the Torb a little bit more. Even Mankey could just suffer from 2 shots to the head. And you've got the Coalescence as well, and you're building up to the EMP.
And the Molten Core is going to come back and immediately pressure Ira back. Suddenly this Coalescence can't get as much work as she wanted to be done, as Hidden Squid is going to be falling on top of it. Azukari, though, able to take out Talo. Harambe does take out Ira with a giant rock to the face. And without their heals, this is looking like the Beefers should be in control once again, as it's going to be just Firebats swatting them all off. And just like flies coming towards that sweet, sweet light trap in the dead of night.
Mankey uses Transcendence at the end there. I don't know if that was a fat finger or something, but that is an opportunity for Paradise Tempest. Once again, Los Beefers overcommit to a 1 fight. They've done this time and time again. They have almost nothing online, just the Gravitic Flux, 4 ultimates coming on for Paradise Tempest. And they're just about even. This should be a fight win for Paradise Tempest, and they should flip the point over.
And let's see Lars, he's coming out in this back line here. He's just saying hi to Taylor right now, maybe wants to give him a little hug, but it's going to be the EMP that comes out as they dive onto Mankey. They've realized just how dangerous Mankey's is in these battles, and they're going to be taking him out, but it's met with a Gravitic Flux, and it's good on Ira. Now, this is looking like the Beefers want to take this fight with the healer advantage that they have, as they're able to take out Lars as well. Once again, just holding on to this point. Azukari, he's going to be popping the primals out, able to take out Blue Jay, but there's still too much pressure coming in from the tanks of the Beefers. Finally, Sixes is making his return, able to pressure them down, getting a 2K, make it a 3, and that's going to be finally Paradise Tempest swapping the point around.
I was almost going to rage, Marks. Hidden Squid is not in position to beat the Gravitic Flux because he's backcapping. I was going to lose my mind if they lost that fight because of it. But Azukari once again comes alive and saves the fight for Paradise Tempest. And now you have the added benefit of keeping the sound barrier online. 86% for Paradise Tempest. This could be last fight.
Let's see how this goes as we see the amplification matrix being dropped down by Tambone here. If they can get a lot of value, that would be great. The multi-core being thrown on just going to help with a little bit of positioning, but it is going to be met with Six's Death Blossom. Unfortunately, he was checked so well just to make sure that he couldn't get any value out of it. And now this is going to be Firebats trying to swap people around, but he is getting hacked here. So if Paradise Tempest want to just swarm around on top of him, they should be able to do something good there. But it's going to be him and Squid getting the pick on the Taylor. Now this is just going to be an absolute brawl as Ira has charged up this Coalescence. Culture finding the explosion kill onto the Bob, able to just deny a lot of the pressure that came out there. But that is an absolutely massive EMP coming out for Lars, especially just when they needed it. And they're going to be beaming down that Tambone out of the air as Paradise Tempest should be getting round number 1.
What a map, Marks. What a point, what a round.
This team's won it.
99 to 100. It's all over the place. And it's a weird little mistakes coming out on both sides. I want to note in that last point, you know, Hidden Squid uses the beat I was talking about. But Ira's out of position. Ira does not receive the beat, being 90% to her Coalescence. And then I believe Blue Jay gets the pick on her. She's the only member who didn't get the sound barrier. And then falls apart. And suddenly, you know, up 5v6, Los Beavers cap the points, but aren't able to capitalize on it. Lars just getting these really good hacks and Azukari just running wild. Now we're finally going to see the Reinhardt rush comp. Is this the answer for the Beefers to come back? They need to win this round or all of their work over the last couple maps will be for naught. It'll just be another map 5 loss to Paradise Tempest.
And the Beefers are going to be coming in strong, already met against Paradise Tempest. Taylor falling immediately so low. You can just see they're so good at doing this isolated damage, especially too when there's no targets that are really close and up in their face. They're picking off the back line there. Six is finding Mankey. Mankey no longer on that Zenyatta. It's not able to defend himself. Six is taking a little bit of a revenge there as it's just going to be a scatter on a point. That is an absolutely massive anti-nade. It finds 4 members now, just denying them so many heals as Lars takes out Tambone. Now, there's not going to be a lot of heals as it looks like we are going to be going to a quick pause in the middle of this massive action.
Yeah, I wonder who is having the issue right here, but hopefully we'll be able to get back soon. But I want to make a point about something that a long time ago, you know, when we were talking about TG versus Paradise Tempest, you know, Team Gralu Paradise Tempest matchup. Misfit said something very telling where he said, you know, he thought Team Gralu would win because Paradise Tempest aren't that good against these off-meta compositions. And now they're up against a standard rush comp. and suddenly they're pounding. It's definitely telling how much more alive they come when they're up against a more standard composition, right? And it's just bars. He's just happy to sit on the high ground and plunk away shots. You could see during our observing how the teams just kind of swapped around. We swapped from Blue Jay to Talo, and both of them were just taking damage. They were getting plunked down. Lars, man. That's Lars just standing on his own. No one doing anything against him, and he's been doing so much work.
Now we're going to be getting back into the action. Speaking of Lars doing work, that's going to be another hit on the Firebats, but Six is able to take out Harambe, and now this is just going to be Paradise Tempest rolling forwards onto them. Like you said, they are really good at countering this standard rush composition, and it is showing.
And they have all their ultimates pretty much. They are in such good position to hold on to this point. We're going to see the swaps coming out. Talo is going to swap to the Ashe. Finally, someone is able to counter Lars on this Ashe, but Firebats, like you said, he's on the hog. Is this the answer? Is the non-meta the answer to Paradise Tempest? Have they cracked the code? We'll find out.
It's like they heard you and we're just like, that's our win condition right now. But it looks like it might not be enough as it's going to be Sixes and Azukari finding 2 opening kills. Now they're just chasing down this hog, and Firebats is going to be down. Once again, Paradise Tempest holding on to this point extremely strongly, and they still have 4 ultimates on board for the next team fight.
Yeah, the 2 DPS ults just clean that up pretty quickly, and once again, we're seeing more swaps. You can't do this, Beepers. You have to stay on something. They swap over. They might be able to punish Lars with this dive comp, but I'm not sure if there'll be enough. They have so many ultimates to work through and are not building up ults of their own.
Oh no, Blue Jay, that was a terrible teleport into the mines. Thankfully, it was only onto one Azukari, though, receiving the nano and chasing down Tambone. Tambone goes down, but look at the color of the kill feed. It's all pink because that's just going to be Paradise Tempest getting a full team wipe against the Beefers.
They're already up to 70%. They are doing so well, and suddenly, you know, everything, it's like this is map 3. It's like we went from the first 2 maps into this one. Now, they still have another Pulse Bomb and the Primal Rage. No ultimates at all for Los Beefers. They haven't used a single ult, I think, this entire map.
Yikes. Firebat's now pressuring Lars off of that high ground, trying to push him off of this good locations that he is. Ira's going to fall extremely low. Harambe trying to finish up that kill. He's able to do so, but Azukari is trading it back. But Lars is out of the picture right now because of Harambe taking the heroics into his own hand. And on this monkey pick right now, he is going to be beamed down by Azukari, so Azukari is going to win the Winston battle here. But this point is still stalled out. We're in overtime right now because Paradise Tempest are at 99%, and they don't want to give the Beefers any space at all. But finally the Beefers turn it around.
Yeah, the dive works out for Los Beefers debut. You know, they take out both supports, Ira and Hidden Squid. That's what you need to do, but you have to do it time and time again. Once these ults build up again for Paradise Tempest, it's going to be a hard ask, especially with that Bob. Blue Jay has to come up big with no Diva on the field. He should get a strong Death Blossom out.
Lars just very confidently walking by Firebats as Firebats is trying to dive him there. The Death Blossom is good for 2, though, from Blue Jay. He is going to be put to sleep and immediately punished, but that might have been enough momentum here as Bob was committed onto the point, but he's going to be very easily checked. I'm not sure if he actually made it onto the point, but Talo is holding his own Bob now.
Yeah, that's good. You know, you win the fight with 1 ult and you get an ult out of your opponent. 40%, you're going to have to do it a couple more times. You're going to have to win fights like that. Let's see if the attacking curse is still alive for Paradise Tempest, but doesn't look like it. They get 2 picks and they're pushing forward.
Attacking curse, more like attacking bravado as they're able to find 3. Now Harambe trying to pull off some heroics once again, but he is anti-nated, meaning he can't get healed up. Lars just trying to run away from this very angry monkey smacking him around, but even though he's taken out, Ira's going to cancel that one now. As we see, this is Paradise Tempest just rocking this point. The Bob is going to be committed, but it might be all too late as it looks like PT are just on top of this point. That's going to be Blue Jay taking out Lars, but with Blue Jay falling down as well, now Paradise Tempest are going to be very comfortably recapping this. Hey, they got to touch this point right now. If the Beavers don't make it on, then it's going to be game over, and they're not able to touch it as Paradise Tempest wins against the Beavers. Once again, history doth repeat thyself. Paradise Tempest winning this series 3-2.
Truly seems like a curse, Marks. It seems like this was fate. It's how dominant every map was, but for different sides. Just absolutely insane, but like, Paradise Tempest, they just come alive. Los Beefers fall with not a roar, but a whimper, as once again, control is their bane. It is taking them apart. They cannot win control against this team. It's just unlucky that you have to play it so many times. 4-0 in control maps to Paradise Tempest.
Oh
what a match. Once again, what a match.
It was one-sided one way, then another-sided another way, and then it just ended up being a very close match with Paradise Tempest coming out on top, beating the Los Beefers to be, and finally getting their first win on the board for Stage 2 in this Week 2 game. So, we have to name an MVP here. And Spooky, who are you thinking about naming an MVP?
I think it is pretty obvious to me, you know, when this guy was on, Paradise Tempest were losing. When he couldn't come alive, or when this guy was on, Paradise Tempest were winning, sorry. When he wasn't doing as well, they seemed lost. And it's going to be the main tank for Paradise Tempest. It's Azukari, really doing so much work. There were like 5 different fights where he just came alive on the Winston with the Primal Rage and just pulled Paradise Tempest. He dragged them kicking and screaming over the finish line to win these fights. Azukari, definitely my MVP for this match. Just he when he was on. Brilliant Winston play.
Absolutely. Well, stay tuned because we are going to be going to a little bit of a break here, but we're going to be interviewing a member of Paradise Tempest. So stick around just for a couple of minutes while we get that interview set up. Welcome back, everybody. Paradise Tempest winning against Lost Beavers to be 3-2, bringing us to a fifth map. And now we've got our interview set up with Paradise Tempest, as we both have Azukari and Hidden Squid in here. And I just want to say, guys, first of all, congratulations. But what was going through your head as you entered into that map 5 after having 2 fantastic maps and 2 not as fantastic maps?
Yeah. We were just kind of sweating. It was coming down to the wire a little bit, so we were really talking about getting our focuses a little narrowed down. Right, we were talking about they might be able to run weird comps, but if we just focus on our fundamentals and we rely on the things that we're good at, we can ultimately achieve the win, and worked out for us.
Yeah, anything to add, Hidden?
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say the same thing, but yeah, the whole ball fair strat was super obnoxious, and they played it really well. So yeah, it made it tough to deal with, but yeah, we seemed to get our ducks in a row for Met 5.
Yeah, I do have a question for you specifically, Hidden. You know, you're coming in. I think this is your first match actually playing with the squad. You know, Rigmadon is out, so you're coming in to flex really, and it's interesting because Rig has kind of a weird hero pool and playing like the Lucio as well as some of these other flex supports.
Yeah.
So how did that feel coming in? Not only to cover for him, but in a match that's really kind of building up to be a rivalry between Los Beefers and Paradise Tempest.
Yeah. So, I mean, full disclosure. So I was on this team for probably a year and a half. Been taking some time off. I haven't even played Overwatch in like 3 months, and yeah, just had to step in for the guys while Rig was out. So, was glad I could get back to playing my Ana that I like to play, and once Rig gets back, he can play Lucio, and you know, hold.
Yeah, and beautiful performance. You really didn't seem like there was too much of a drop in quality, especially on that flex support role. So just great play over it.
He's a knight in shining armor.
He is a knight in shining armor there. And I actually had a question for Azukari because, you know, the wrecking ball was causing a lot of problems coming from the Beefers side and stuff like that. And we saw you playing quite a bit of Winston today, you know, trying to get in there, but it seemed like you were getting shut down. But what kind of changed that allowed you to just start running rampant, especially on that final map there, on this Winston, you know, building up those primal rages, just juggling the team around and just basically being dominant?
It's kind of hard to just decisively say what exactly changed, but I believe it was probably a mixture of recognizing like the correct opportunities to go in. So for an instance on King's Row especially, I had a lot of difficulties solely because I couldn't find my openings. I couldn't find my niche, my groove, where I really wanted to like, oh, and now I can go in. The timings weren't quite clicking for me, so I just had to clear, reset a little bit mentally, and then I came back a little bit stronger.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah, honestly, Azukari, some of the best monkey play I have seen in Owlet. You looked, there were so many times where you just looked so clean and just really were that leader for your team, pushing them forward. Now for both of you guys, this does seem to be almost a rivalry here, you know. This is the second time against Los Beefers you've gone to map 5. But you guys picked Los Beefers to be in your division. You had free reign to kind of dodge them. Were you expecting going into this rematch that it could go the distance, or were you guys like, you know, we're ready, we're going to 3-0 them, or how was it like before you came into this match?
That's kind of tough to say because as a team, naturally we are a little bit cocky and we do like to expect the 3-0s, right?
Of course.
But it's kind of a little bit mixture of both. We really chose this team because we knew that they were incredibly strong. This team, we didn't want an easy bracket. We didn't want to say, oh yeah, Paradise Tempest, they're good, but look at the schedule. Kind of don't want that, right? So on some aspects, we were really preparing and trying our best. So we would have loved to achieve the 3-0, but this was a good team.
Yeah, and they were really showing that once again, dragging this out to that map number 5. And I just have one last question here. You know, my good old friend Spooky talked about how great Reinhardt is. Is there any specific reason you guys try and stay away from the Reinhardt?
Big Ryan
fan. It's not really a specific reason. It's just we tend to find that with these dive comps, you know, they like to exploit certain weaknesses, certain people. Like for example, if there's an Ana who's not hitting all their sleeps, which is hard to do, right? And if they're not getting peeled for correctly, we just, you know, we kind of are able to execute on mistakes easier. But with the brawl, it's a lot more of kind of ramming your head into a wall, from our perspective.
I see.
So it's a lot more difficult.
He loves doing that.
I do. I'm definitely a Ryan main. But one final question, and I'll let you guys go. But Paradise Tempest has really had a interesting storyline coming through this league, and a lot of difficult opponents while still being that top team. Out of these next 3 teams I'm going to list, which do you think is your main rival between Team Growlulu, Crusaders, or Los Beefers? 3 teams you have a lot of history with. Which do you want to win? Which do you want to beat most badly? Which of those teams? If you were playing all of them tomorrow, which win would you want?
Oh, okay. Wow. Well, that's a very difficult question. Um, they're all really, really good. So a win against any one of them is we would cheer ourselves and pat ourselves on the back for that. But I think Growl Uwu especially, we would love to really take our win back.
Hmm.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
I would
Coming through the
love to
revenge.
see you guys meet again in the stage 2 finals. And with the way you played today, I can definitely see it happening. So once again, thank you so much for coming. Great game from both of you. And I'm excited to see you guys continue to hopefully just dominate and come back in stage 2, get into the playoffs, and get that rematch against Team Garlulu.
Thank you so much. We're praying for the best too, right, Magic? Or I mean, Squid. Sorry. I'm so used to having Magic here.
Yeah, I fill in. I play with this guy for a year, and he forgets my name, bro.
He just replaces you.
It's
Someone else.
ridiculous.
Tank duos are something
thanks so much.
different.
I know tank players. You said Ryan just banging his head into the wall. I think as a card might have done that a little too many times. But yeah, thank you. Thanks so much for the interview. Hopefully, I can fill in for Rig another time and get to play these guys again.
Yeah,
All right,
congratulations again.
Congratulations to both of you, and thank you guys for tuning in to this match. Little unconventional. We had an Owlet game on Wednesday, but this was Lost Beefers to be going up against Paradise Tempest all the way to map number 5, with Paradise Tempest winning out 3-2. We hope you've enjoyed this lovely match, but make sure to follow the Owlet tournament channel because there's going to be more games every single Friday. And as we start to get closer and closer to playoffs, then these teams are going to be a little bit more comfortable with each other, and we're going to get some real good competition coming forwards for that. So we hope you've enjoyed it. I've been Marks, casting alongside my friend Spooky, and this whole thing has been put together by Silent Marine, doing a great job on both producing and observing. But thank you for joining us tonight, and we will catch you next time for more wonderful games coming out from the Owlet tournament. Have a good night, everybody.